As I've gotten older, there are a number of things that I wanted to do to improve my skill sets, but I either kept putting off because of a lack of time or just, life was getting in the way or something else was happening. One of those skills was drawing. Now, some background. I originally wanted to be a architect, and so a lot of my early drawing ability was based around using rulers and set squares, compasses, and so forth. I happened to go to school in probably the last of the 2 years that they were using paper before they started moving over to doing draftsmanship in a computer. So, it was a bit ironic that I ended up working with computers anyway, but the original skill that I was training for, I ended up abandoning just because. So, this kind of coloured my drawing and artistic abilities going forward. Now, I've been doing watercolours and drawings for years, but I just always kept them to myself. I didn't really show anybody what I was doing, and it was just something that I used to do just sometimes just to give my brain a break from, the usual things that it's filled up with and it's thinking about. So what's on screen right now? If you remember going back to October of last year, I went to the UK, and this was the view outside of the window where we were sleeping. So, I just drew that. It's a fairly iconic view of Falmouth. That's basically how my art used to be. And you can tell where it is, like it kind of fits with what it was that I was trying to draw. But is it realistic? No, it's stylized. And so this is one of those things I wanted to try to change. So I'd always wanted to do portraits, but the trouble was my portraits also they weren't realistic. They were more stylistic than realistic. So I wanted to basically sit down this year and try to figure out how to correct that. So what's now on screen is a baseline. This is Albert Einstein, and as you can see, like it's almost cartoonish. Like it's definitely Albert Einstein. It kind of looks like Albert Einstein, but it's more cartoonish than it is realistic. And so that was something, as a baseline that I wanted to try to improve on. On the screen now is a Winston Churchill that I did, and this one is a lot more the other way. Now, he obviously looks about £30 lighter, maybe even £50 lighter than he was in real life, but you can see how the style has changed and what I've learnt over the summer trying to basically draw what you see, not what you think you see. If I was to distill down everything that I learnt over the summer, it wasn't that I needed to change how I was holding a pencil or even how to control the pencil. It was basically to make sure that I'm seeing what I'm supposed to see as opposed to what I think I see. Because if you draw what you think you see, then you end up with this as opposed to this. A large part of that was down to, I read a book and it was called Drawing with the Right Hand Side of Your Brain. And the basics of the book, if we were to distill it down to like one sentence, is that rather than drawing what is physically there and measurably there, you got to stop trying to draw what your left-hand side of the brain tells you should be there. Now, that's a gross oversimplification, but that's basically the message, and it's also the same message I want to get across in this video. So that's basically what happened. Now, obviously, there's many hours of tinkering in the middle, and there's a number of mistakes. Now, a large part of the mistakes that I made in between were perspective, and quite often what would happen is I would get so down and into the nitty-gritty of one part of the picture, and I wouldn't take a step back to see the whole picture. And so, often what looked correct close up, when I looked at it, 10 minutes after finishing it, I'd be like, oh, like that's not how it's supposed to look. Why did I even draw that? That's not what I see. So, again, it's still something that I'm learning on, but it's definitely an improvement, and it's something I'm going to keep working at as the months go by, and especially as there's more and more time now during the winter months where we're not outside. And of course, I can't sit and watch Netflix for like 18 hours a week. I'm just not that type of person. so so yeah, that's what happened when I tried to learn to draw properly. As I said, this is by no means the end of the road. I've got a long, long way to go yet until I totally improve on this to the point that I get to do what it is that I want to do. And my basic finish line that I've set myself is I want to do a realistic portrait of myself. If I can do a self-portrait, then I think I will call it okay. I've reached the finish line, and time to start working on something else. But that's basically what I'm working at the moment. So anyway, I thought that you might find that interesting. That's what's been going on. One of the things that's happened over the summer. If you like these vlogs, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want to see more, hit subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.